Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 310, and today we're doing battle with Evelynn Lucian. And so, the 4.2 patch, it brought three big changes to the Evelynn kit. You may be thinking to yourself, Bust, there's only two that I can think of, right? We have Domination, now has the 2 points of health, so she survives the likes of Pokey sticks and group shots and vile feasts. Pretty simple and straightforward there. The second one, the rework of Steem, to where he is now a 4-cost card instead of like 5 or 6, whatever the old garbagey version did. And now when you summon a 1-cost ally, it grants vulnerable, a very powerful ability giving us interactivity coming off of his ability. And so those two are the straightforward ones, but the third one, in my opinion, is the changes to Lucian. Lucian used to be a 2-health 3 or a 2-cost 3/2. Now he is a 1-cost 2/1. And so Lucian does now get to come in, tie in with Domination, getting the bonus attack when he comes on board, ties in with Steem, passing out the vulnerables when he comes on board, and then passing out those vulnerables is quite nice with Lucian, allowing him to be a quick attack challenger. The next kind of big thing with Lucian coming out of the Evelynn decks, it's obvious that Evelynn and the Husks are an easy way to get him leveled up, but the other kind of less obvious point is getting him up above that 1 health now. As we mentioned with Domination, having issues with only 1 health, dying to Vile Feasts and the like, if you get the 1 Husk onto Lucian, then his survivability really just goes through the roof, and so he is a excellent addition to this style of deck. The things I like to call out with this deck in particular is we aren't very aggressive, right? You do get a lot of these, units on the board, and you're going to be like, oh boy, I'm ready to start attacking with these 4/4s and 5/5s and the like. But you're really trying to develop this incremental board advantage. You can't just have Domination on the board and count on the Husks to really carry you through. You kind of need 2 cards to really get the deck churning. And so we're going to look at this combination of Durandi Sculptor, Dawn Speakers, and Domination. Try and get 2 of those on the board so that our progressive improvements to the rest of our units really come in and pay off. In terms of some of the other choices within this deck, I'm really excited about the 2 copies of Ranger's Resolve, 2 copies of Champion Strength. This is a deck that very easily gets a lot of board width, and then we do need a way to come in and take advantage of those width. The Ranger's Resolve to help preserve it, the Champion's Strength to end the game, but we also have cards like Genevieve. She ties in with the scout abilities from Steem, and then she gives all of our units the +1/+1 to hopefully give us the remaining stats we need to come in and crush our opponents. The last kind of things to call out, we have a pretty reasonable removal package with the 3 hate spikes, 2 copies of Single Combat, and 1 copy of Concerted Strike. And if we do manage to get multiple copies of Evelynn, the second Evelynn copy, or the Evelynn flip, I should say, gives her access to a strike ability. And so, this is the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. And let's go ahead and jump on in. Where we at, old Domination? Ready to go. So playing on the old secondary account today. We should be getting this one up into Masters pretty quick. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's see how these things go. All right, so up against the old Elites with Kale. This is the kind of space to where hopefully we can get our board building up as they don't have a lot of interactivity, right? Their units are going to be big. They can get their units a little bit bigger and faster than we can, but we can pick up these keywords that are of utmost importance. If we start getting like regenerates onto Evelynn and allowing her to survive a lot of these rounds, we can turn it around pretty quick. Okay, so we did manage to get our 2 unit boosters in the Durandi Sculptor. Not going to help us win the combats, but most certainly help us come in and not lose them. Looks like opponent doesn't have a 2-drop, so hopefully start to pop off with these Sculptors. Alright, Vora's in. It's nice seeing Challenger pop up, but if we're going to drop Evelynn next turn, she's just going to lose the Challenger right afterwards. That's not super exciting, but we'll still carry on here, see what we can do. Given the opportunity to take down a Ram Hound, I'm pretty okay with it. It's very easy for opponent to start coming through with things like a Vanguard Bannerman, stuff to just grow his board bigger than ours, and taking these units away to prevent some of those bonuses, stop some of their scaling damage. Where are we at now? He's got that blocking Badger Bear. I feel like we probably just have to get Evelynn on the board. We do have the opportunity to say, block one thing with Vora, hate spike off something else. Maybe that's the way we want to go about it, right? If we add in Durandi Sculptor, it's going to be a 4 health that can now block the trusty Ramhound. We can put Vora in front of the Badger Bear, hate spike down the Ramhound, and then look to have a bit of a stronger Evelynn next turn. Oh, he's booming. He's coming at us. Do we want to just actually sacrifice the Durandi Sculptor at this point? We might have to. Just to try and get some of this stuff off of the board. See how that goes. If he has the second Ranger's Resolve, we're going to get blown up here, but he already played the one, and they typically only play 2 copies at most, so I don't think we have to worry about it too much. And now with this guy's board, he's got 2 cards in hand, so hopefully our Evelynn will be strong enough to pop off.
I'm always ready to play.
She would have been a little bit better with the Challenger, but just didn't have the time for that.
See what's inside.
So now the fresh question, are we going to want to go ahead and try and pick up a trade with this Durandi Sculptor, or are we, kind of done in terms of what it's able to do on this board, right? Like just getting out 1 or 2 more +1 healths isn't that great, but we do have Evelynn running around with her ability to generate more husks. I think we'll hang on to her for the moment, at least for the husk that we're going to be picking up next turn. Let Genevieve be a little bit safer. Or if we need to, we can just hate spike it away. Oh, we hit regenerate. Kind of nice. Kind of nice.
Come to model for me?
All right, let's see where that gets us. So we got the units, boom. Do we want to wait until next turn for Genevieve? I mean, we probably need to, let's be real. And so take it a little bit slower here. Let's try and play her next turn. The downside's we can't play 2 units next turn if we wait on the Genevieve. But I think with the... ooh. Turns out we can play 2 units this turn. How do we feel about that? Do we want to make this... Like, we can get the stats for Lucian, right? He can be, whatever this is, a 2/5. He gets to see the 2 kills, but I don't think that really gets us anywhere. Really counting on this Genevieve to get a couple of kills on these units and then have the regenerate to be ready to block next turn. Sorry, Lucian. I wanted you to I wanted you to have all the nice things in this world, but it's a little bit too dangerous. So at least with this board, we can look to... is that 9 damage? Like we can we can look to just pass. It's unfortunate. I had big dreams for you, Genevieve. Oh no, is he gonna have a combat trick behind? Come on. Nothing is going right here. Oh. We survived it. Okay, well. Wasn't awesome, but we get our big units on the board. They're nice and healed now. Could survive a little bit of combat here. Second Genevieve turning up, ready to party. Okay. Maybe we can get something going. So I think the fair question is that there's two things. It's how much do we care about Lucian? I'm kind of ready to give up on him. We already have all the giant stats off of our Genevieve and off of our Evelynn. We're probably never going to flip him. Right? We'll get the husk off of Evelynn next turn. We'll get the husk we have on board. That's 2. We're pretty far away from the flip. So, Jarvan? Alright. I just think we're stuck. So let's get a block in front of Garen. Block the next biggest one. Then we'll hate spike off Lucian into Jarvan. And then if we need to, we do still have this secondary hate spike in the back. That I'm looking to just throw at Garen. But I don't want to just throw it at Garen until after combat. Because it really feels like he has a second strike card in his hand. So now if he puts his single combat onto Evelynn, right? Is that what I'm seeing here? And he's not strong enough to win that when he's got... So what happens here? He kills Evelynn. We kill his Jarvan. Our Genevieve still survives. And then we're going to have to hit Garen after combat with the hate spike onto... Okay. Did get that Jarvan flip, though. Maybe we should have done it in combat. Well, it's pretty easy for him to get this Jarvan flipped. It remembers the things that it's seen. Get a good one. Overwhelm. That gets us kind of close to lethals. Oh, Steem. you're 1 mana short. 1 mana short. I mean, I guess all of our Genevieves already have Challenger, but being able to get 2 units on the board this turn would have been kind of nice. Alright, so we're only going to get 1 attack with our 5/6 Genevieve this turn, right? We can attack something else, but given everything that he has on the board, she's just going to die. So we'll hook the biggest unit in with her, and then we'll try and pick off whatever remains with our second Genevieve. Let's just go ahead and go for the trade. He's got this 4 Demacia in hand. I don't want to get blown out by something like the 4 Demacia or a Champion Strength or something. And so just getting him with the completely empty board feels pretty good. I don't want to say we turned a corner in this one, but, I mean, we're certainly looking strong at this point. Genevieve bringing the fury. Bring it, girl. We'll have the Vanguard Redeemer now. Should be drawing a card this turn. Pretty good chains of units coming through.
How about we live a little?
Kale. At least she's small, but not a bad play at this point. Oh shit, I forgot we don't get the card off of the Redeemer just from the husk. Stupid interactions. We should be in a pretty safe space though, right? We're not going to get lethaled here. He can't cast 4 Demacia. His attacks into Genevieve are all terrible. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just pass, but that's a pretty shaky pass for the next turn.
Close your eyes.
Genevieve out here just going murder mode. Feels nice. Feels nice.
Hold nothing
Oh, we got a shot to just outright win this one with the concerted strike. So we'll come in, we'll take down Garen. We're going to go up to 10. And then if he just doesn't have another unit, we can concerted strike down the Badger Bear and get an attack in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, fam. Strike an enemy. Start with Genevieve. I think we did it. I think we did it. Get in there. Get in there, girl. G. Mark that one a W for bust. That's a real grind fest. I didn't expect to win that one. Getting that regenerate fury onto Genevieve. What a sick combo. I planned it that way. What the fuck is this? I don't care about my rewards. Such highs, such lows. The high points of winning those big games, and then small indie company thing just breaking down. It's alright though. That was good stuff. I believed in us the whole way. Alright, let's see what turns up next. More kale. Kale everywhere. Tan everywhere. Jan everywhere. I can never get that line out of my head. It's just, I'm making my way through The Office again. I've only watched The Office like 4 or 5 times through, but I'm on I don't know, playthrough number 5 or 6 or so. Just the lines that stick with you. So here, up against Kale Zed, they shouldn't be able to interact with Lucian, so I think we'll just go ahead and throw him down. Let him see all of these Husk deaths happen from the get-go. Miss out on this opportunity for the Ranger's Resolve, but I think that's okay. Now opponent's going to have to start making these decisions. Do I want to attack into a trade, lose my units to the Lucian, but level up my Kale? Or how do we want to go after it? Not bad though. Dawn Speaker's coming in. Give us a lot of opportunity just to hang out here. Don't think we want to attack with Lucian. It's fairly easy for him to have something like Twin Disciplines. So we'll look to just skip over that. Get the Dawn Speakers down. Start growing the squad. Sounds good to me. Do want to start, like, from this point forward, I would like to keep up the mana for Ranger's Resolve. And so if he, like, taps out for something weird next turn, then fine. We can spend all of our mana. We can drop the Durandi Sculptor or something else. But ideally, we'll start protecting our Lucians with the Ranger's Resolve. Not going to get any kills this turn, though, for our Dawn Speakers, unless we lose a unit in combat. Maybe he'll trade for the Vora or something. All right, he's bringing the squad.
Show you how it's done. Tough day, friend. Never satisfied.
So we could probably just stop here, right? We don't want to trade out the Lucian. If he comes in and has a bunch of big combat tricks to take down the Dawn Speakers, we can then look to Ranger's Resolve, but we're losing that one unit that we wanted to have go away. Now we get to boost everything. Pretty solid turn.
Our allies did not fall in vain.
All right, let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Durandi Sculptor ready to party. One short of getting the Lucian to flip.
Illuminate the dark.
Let's just continue to grow the team. It's a little scarier now that Kale's on the board, but we do have the concerted strike to potentially take her down, and then one more unit's all it's going to take for Lucian to flip. So we're getting pretty decent growth here.
Road's got a toll, and you're paying.
Oh, so I saw that flashy, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not going to be good. That's not going to be good.
Tough day, friend?
Is this how we want to do it? We're going to shoot the Kale with the Concerted Strike, but we don't want... Like, if he has Bastion, right? If he has some Spell Shield card, we don't want to just get nugged for 11. I think we need to keep Lucian back, though. Alright, that should be fine. Let's do it the other way. I don't think that there should be a way to get Barrier, but if he's playing the Barrier lifesteal thing, we want to strike with our four attack unit first and then our Lucian second. Alright, there's the flip. Get everybody in combat now. Can hopefully pick and choose how these combats go, having access to Steem, being able to drop Steem, give something give something a bonus. We can make our initial attack, right? I think that's how this wants to go. So we drop Steem. We're not going to attack with him though. We just want to make sure something gets vulnerable. we can throw our Dawn Speakers in front of the Navori Highwaymen. Is that how we want to go about it? We just don't want to waste the attack token that we get from Lucian.
Where's my hammer?
There's power in water.
So if we make a regular attack, nothing he has should be able to touch Steem. Then we can get the rally, attack with Steem, and then attack with everybody else again. Right? I don't think it's going to matter, but we hadn't made our scout attack yet for the turn, and so that Steem gets a lot of opportunities to come in. Come on, game. Get it together. It's going to restart again, isn't it? Alright, let's give this another try. Maybe we can get a game in uninterrupted. Come on, Riot. You're gonna bring my sass out, bring my salt forward. These are the things we gotta get mad about, right? Ruining my day, making the game restart. So tough. So tough living the life of Bust. So what can we do here? Not hanging on to champion strength. We're up against elites again, this time with just Jarvan instead of Kale. And I think this is a reasonable start. We have to worry a little bit about these real quick openers from elites to where they just get bigger than us. You know, if we have the Durandi Sculptor, Dawn Speakers kind of draw, it doesn't really promote good combats for us. So we have the kind of opportunity to get overrun. But if he has a slow start coming at us, then we'll have ample opportunity to get bigger than him.
Ready to do my part.
So let's do this. We'll bring in Salter. He gets the decent block in front of Cythria, and then we can continue on curve next turn with the Dawn Speakers. Oh, cool. He just doesn't attack? Sounds good to me. Would we rather bring in Domination, though? Domination giving us the slightly bigger units for the future. It's tough, given that, like, if we play the Dawn Speakers now, then on next turn, we don't really have a way to activate the Dawn Speakers again. I guess we could say, like, play Durandi Sculptor and then single combat and just kind of kill off our Salter so our Dawn Speakers Durandi Sculptor grows. Maybe that is enough.
Words move hearts and armies.
Get this elusive... Oh, the Badger Bear. I was like, we got this elusive Dawn Speakers ready to bring in the Thunder, and then... He just gets the opportunities taken right away from him. Sad day for you, my friend.
Safeguard our citizens.
So I think we want to continue on this way. Or if we're just going to throw away Salter, grow the Durandi Sculptor. I mean, would we rather just play Domination? We're going to take a lot this turn. Looks like we'll take 10 this turn. We can block something with the Dawn Speakers. Like we could block Vanguard Squire and then block the Badger Bear with Salter. Maybe that's good enough.
should stamp you out like
Okay.
the insect you are.
Interesting challenger. I don't think we'll have units big enough to take advantage of it, but it did turn up.
Stand with us.
Alright, so Dawn Speakers activates again. Desperate Husk, not so desperate anymore, am I right? Coming out as a 2-2. What a big boy. Ooh, and Evelynn. Getting Evelynn with Challenger is pretty nice.
You must have heard the screaming. I'm starting to get jealous.
Alright, finally, the animation rolling through. The animation everybody wants to see.
They appeared out of nowhere.
So what do we got? I don't want to get like super involved with these bigger units, right? Ideally, if we're just going to start throwing our dudes away, then we'll just kind of get like a block on a big boy, then a single combat onto something smaller. But if we pull in the Badger Bear, we get to attack with the Dawn Speaker. That's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. We'll take it slow. We'll just go after the Cythria. Weaken up his board a little bit. Keep our Evelynn nice and healthy.
I ran as fast as I could.
It's like the big Jarvan turn getting ready to come up.
These are dark times.
Back on the prowl.
Is he gonna open with old Jarvan? Looks like it. That's what it looks like. But it's not terrible, assuming... Oh, man, the Jarvan coming in is going to hook Domination now and not hook Evelynn. I missed that when she unflipped. I think opponent's realizing that now. He's realizing that he wants to kill Evelynn, but... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Well, that's a little more problematic. So if we bring in the single combat, we can pick off something like a Penitent or a Vanguard Bannerman. Then unfortunately the Domination's not quite big enough to take any of these other units down. I think this is just where we're stuck. You're not going to get a double block out of a Domination. Send you in. And then have to just go for Genevieve, right? I guess if we go for like a Salter, we do have the opportunity to go for 2 units. But if we play Genevieve, she'd be a 5, so she would be a 10-9. And she could block 2 units for the turn. Evelynn would only go up to 6 health, though. But I mean, the double Salter doesn't really do anything if he's only going to have... Oh shit, she ate these before she came down? That's a -1 stat I was expecting. Still okay. She still gets the job done blocking Penitent Squires. So how much do we have to give up here? I'm curious if we can still win the game if we give up Evelynn. As it stands, like say we come in and block the Badger Bear with Dawn Speakers. He comes in with a secondary attack. Well, he's bringing everybody now. Like we can take 1 hit, right? We can let 1 attack through and not be dead. I think we're stuck sending Evelynn in. We can put the 5 down here. He's going to have 2 units back. Then we can block the other 2 on the swing back. I mean, I guess we're not dead, but we're not physically dead, but emotionally, figuratively. This game should be pretty done. He's still got 3 cards in hand.
Hope alive.
Keep hope alive. I know, Dawn Speakers. I know. I know.
what others only dream of.
Kind of nasties he's got to bring in now. Jarvan. It's a nice barriered unit, I guess.
Words make a ruler, but actions make history.
Now that's a bit better.
Tough.
There's a chill in the air. Plenty of fire to go around.
Now that's a bit
All right, now maybe something happens with the champion strength next turn. It's still just short of actually doing anything. But I guess if all he's doing is like hooking our Lucian and then we get to build a champion strength next turn, we might be able to pull something off. Oh shit, I forgot about these. Okay, whatever. Whatever, that one's done. Too much champion strength. I wonder, I know we had ours there. I wasn't paying enough attention to it. I'm not certain if we would have had an opportunity to play ours and just kill off his team. I know on that last turn, we could have played ours, I think. Like, we spent 6 on Genevieve, 2 on single combat, and one had one spell mana backed up. So maybe that would have been better. I'd have to go back and look at it. It's tough to tell. Tough to tell from memory. I didn't stop to think about it, though. I will concede that. All right, what do we got here, though? The Polish Tiger bringing out Pantheon, Action, Aphelios, and Yuumi. Quite the combo. Quite the collection of friends that are about to come at us. Hey, not bad. Found some unit upgraders. We should be able to just kind of like hang out with the Durandi Sculptor and Domination on the board, right? This shouldn't be a particularly aggressive deck coming at us. They can make aggressive draws if he plays like the Faded 1-drop and then puts an equipment on it and then hits it with a target, but leading off with the Forsaken Bakai doesn't make me worry about that. All the Durandi Sculptors.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
All right, take 3. Let's get these husks booming.
I should stamp you out like the insect you are.
Evelynn turning up. Ready to party.
True power eclipses both day and night.
Let's see if we want to drop Evelynn next turn. It's pretty tempting to put the quick attack on something like Vora or even Durandi Sculptor just so we can start getting these attacks in. I don't want to just have to like sit here all day and then opponent be like, LOL, oops, I got a LOL, oops, I got a giant Pantheon ready for you. But I guess putting the permanent quick attack onto Evelynn isn't terrible. Ooh, our next Husk had Challenger attached to it, so we'll definitely get some good attacks next turn. Good old desperate Husk down here. Not looking so desperate now, huh? Look at all these desperate friends, right?
That was hot. A slight adjustment.
Something happened. What just happened? He passed?
More.
That doesn't strike me as good for the opponent.
Vora.
Good for us.
Looking for satisfaction? Time to eat. Now that's a bit
And then we got a Elusive in the background. Not the most spectacular turn for Elusive in terms of Evelynn, since I do plan on quick attack challenging with her, but we can follow up with Durandi Sculptor. That is a good unit to attach the Elusive to. We probably just want to be attacking with everybody now, right? I don't really care to start losing off our unit boosters. Like, you can't just have like 4 of these things on the board.
I love it when they scream. Where's my hammer?
All right, well, RIP your board, dude. RIP. Rip it and roll it.
The brighter my light, the stronger your
All right, so he picks up the Aphelios. Do not care. Could actually Ranger's Resolve out of this, but I feel like we have enough refill in our units behind to not worry about it and save it for a higher impact play involving our Evelynn or something. He shouldn't be able to deal with Evelynn anyways, but
A slight adjustment.
it's a little safer.
I want more.
What up, Steem?
We were never fated to bow.
Ready for a little splish splash.
Start spreading out those vulnerables now. Let's put the vulnerable onto Aphelios. See if any blocking happens this turn. I don't imagine too much will go down, but if we're gonna be real, this game should be done. Oh, he goes lifesteal on Pantheon. Did you hit a good keyword? Quick attack, fearsome, regenerate, tough fury. Okay, so no spell shield, no.
Bleed, we must.
He had no spell shield and he had no elusive. Then I think I'm not certain how it works. It looks like he flips with the lifesteal on the stack. I was curious if he gets a lifesteal from his ability or from the moon weapon, if he can still generate it onto himself. But
I thought
not certain how that works.
you hanging.
Probably should have played ourselves another unit here.
Shut up and scream.
Let's make up for that now.
All right, let's get to work.
Let's get to work, Durandi Sculptor. Do that 2-7, ready, ready to bring the heat. Excellent. That Evelynn with her abilities quite strong here.
Where's my hammer?
There's power in water.
So we can counterspell whatever he plays or strike something down. Pretty good. Not quite enough for the win here, but powerful nonetheless. So his Pantheon gets to survive. I mean, do we want to just go ahead and take him down? We messed this... Well, that's arguable if we messed this up. And say we could have opened with our scout into Aphelios and then attacked a second time. Didn't do it. Alright, I'll hold on to the last caress. See if we can't
A slight adjustment.
use it next turn. I don't really think we're at risk at dying, and his Pantheon does suck, right? he didn't hit a lot of good keywords here. He didn't hit Challenger, he didn't hit Elusive, he didn't hit Spell Shield, and so I don't feel ultra safe trying to drop last caresses on him, but we at least don't have to worry about him coming in and killing us. Alright, so I'll skip the block. I'm just going to drop in Genevieve. It's going to put the regenerate over onto Evelynn for the turn. Let her do a little bit of healing. And then should be able to finish this one off next turn. We have the vulnerable onto Pantheon, so we can pull him out to the right somewhere. Hopefully finish this off. Just like that. GG, my friend.
Let's do this again sometime.
Let's do this again sometime. Ooh. So finally, I finished off the golf documentary. It was fascinating. Again, I talked about it in a couple of videos ago. And I was trying to think of why I found it so interesting, why it was so like familiar. And I think it's in the sense that whenever you are... you don't even want Lucian here, right? Lucian is... he's just never going to get a good combat. I mean, I guess he can threaten to flip against this deck. Okay, we'll try it. But I think it's in the sense that when you look at most sports, they're all team sports, right? And so if you're thinking in the sense of soccer, there's like 20 some people on the field. If you're talking about football and why the Chiefs succeeded or failed, it's never just Patrick Mahomes alone. Same thing with basketball and our favorite LeBron James and everything. It's just it's a team sport, and so you do speak in large volumes that like, oh yeah, the Chiefs would have done X if their offensive line was better. They would have done Y if the defense was better. Patrick Mahomes got hurt, so they're starting to fall apart. Like it's very rarely like one individual thing. You'll call out the individual things, but it's very rare that is the kind of defining factor of a game. But man, when it comes to golf, that's it. It's just you. And to a degree, at least, what I started to gather from the documentary is that there's a little bit of kind of back and forth, right? In the sense that if your opponent is playing quite well, then you may be like a little bit more conservative or a little bit more aggressive, depending on the kind of game you need to finish off everything. But at the end of the day, it is for the most part just an individual event, and I think that's what kind of like really brought the same feeling. And like playing these competitive card games forever, you're of course playing against an opponent, but the most part, when you're actually physically in the game, it's just on you, and that's all that's happening there. Yes, your opponent's doing stuff, but your opponent isn't kind of like directly affecting you. And then the same kind of deal is in the like preparation phases, right? These golfers would have like coaches and teammates and everything, and they help them along the way. But at the day of the event, it's really just all on you. And so it was all like very resonating, even though they're playing a different game than we play. There's a lot of similarities in what was happening between their lives and our lives, if you will. So I thought it was pretty good, and it was ultimately pretty interesting to me as well, just seeing a lot of the just kind of like emotions and feelings that these people would have, in the sense that. And let me piece this together real quick. We're going to single combat down this Garen, but if he has a sharp sight, I don't want to completely fail, so I do want to block him with something. We should probably block with Durandi Sculptor. Evelynn into Garen. And then we can take 10. That's fine. But no, just like the mindset of a lot of these people is to where some of them have this, I am the best in the world kind of mindset. And then other people having the kind of like, well, if it's a good day, we might be able to succeed, but I'm never going to match up to a Tiger Woods of the world, or match up to some of these other peoples of the world. And so it was pretty interesting to see how all that went and felt. It just resonated so well with me. There would be the people that just live the life, that they're just so super focused on it. There'd be the people that were strong with their young, but then they started to fail. There's people that got into the game late. It's just such a wide range of things. I was really blown away by it. So much elites today. The other thing I thought was kind of interesting with it is, as we do really have a lot of kind of competitive focus out here in the stuff that we're doing, and you want to have like a big event, I was blown away by the size of the prize pools of these events. The first place prize for a lot of this stuff was like, I think the Players Championship, the kind of like Worlds of Golf, was like a $20 million prize to first place. I'm not even sure if like I would say by this point like Magic has paid out $20 million across the course of its lifetime, but I feel like that may have been the number just for like the extent of the Pro Tour. Like I feel like across a year of Pro Tour it was like 5 million max. And maybe it was like, I feel like it was really like $1 million per Pro Tour, and then the Grand Prix had a million or so attached to them as well. And so just to see that number, 20 million going to first for one event, and then knowing like the biggest esports events of all time, maybe they've eclipsed. Like I know that Dota had that $1 million event there for a while, which granted was 1 million split across 5 separate people. It was just wild to me. But the other thing I was kind of thinking today is golf, as they were speaking in this documentary, some of these events that they were running had been running for like 180 years. And that was just like absolutely mind blowing to me that the game had that much that much longevity to it. It's pretty insane to think that video gaming has been around. When did like Pong and the Atari come out? Was that in like the late 70s or the early 80s? Probably in the late 70s. And so that would push it to be like, conservatively like 40 to 45 years old, as to where, 180 years. That's just insane to me. And so maybe our grandkids will be playing in the the $20 million Runeterra Open. It's fucking bonkers. But I'm getting distracted. Back to the game here. I think this is going okay. I would like to have a unit die on the round so that we can get the Salter. We played Steem, so we're good, right? Steem he ate his vegetables, he got the spell shield, so everyone will get the bonus. I think that's fine. We can pass. Continue to grow on board. So I'm gonna Steem everybody. Steam clean your whole crew here. And Jarvan. Okay, we can handle this. So we'll put our worst unit in front of Garen. Now we're going to single combat our worst unit into Jarvan. That's going to break his barrier, let Steem get the kill. Garen won't get a strike. Now in terms of these other units, we have to do some amount of blocking. Maybe like this. So if he has a sharp sight, this is going to be relatively painful, losing our Dawn Speakers. Maybe we should have kept the Dawn Speakers back. Oh shit. I didn't anticipate Jarvan flipping. That's a bummer. So next turn, if we're going to champion strength, we need to 2-bank. So we could play Steem here and then try and champion strength. Or would we rather just go for Genevieve? I mean, I don't think the champion strength is going to be worthwhile with 3 units. So let's at least pick up some of these vulnerable attacks across the board. We should at least be able to clear out a lot of his dudes before his stuff comes online. Fuck, I forget about these cataclysms from Jarvan. We're just gonna get fucked by that. He's gonna hit in on Genevieve. Yeah, this would be so savage if we had a tough. Alright. Fine. Whatever. Alright, let's get one more game in. We're getting pretty close to that hour mark. We'll do one more set of battles, see if it's up against the elites or not. I really wish, given all the elites that we've been going up against, we were just playing our Fiora deck. But, you got to be ready for the elites as you play other decks in the world. And so, interesting to see how those matches go. And it's so much nicer, man, as we come out here and play, like, elites in half of our games. It's different flavors of elites, at least, but at least it doesn't feel as shitty as just playing against Seraphine all the time. The feeling is ridiculous, given that in the era of Seraphine, I would play one game in a video against Seraphine and then just concede the rest. And then now just playing up against elites, it's like, it's not that bad. It's not that strange. It's not that terrible. Let's see how this goes. We're up against Ilawi. We don't have any early game plays here, so he does have the opportunities just to go ham with the tentacles. He isn't really producing in that way, though. Let's see how this goes. We'll get Domination in. We might end up having to hate spike this Broadwing, but ideally not. All right, see how it goes. Because these cards, you can't just annihilate his board like this, right? With a riposte single combat. I don't think that's quite where we want to be. Let's take down the Sea's Voice. I was really interested in taking down the Sea's Voice anyways, but getting to take it down with the equipment on top is pretty nice. Now we'll see if he tries to do anything with the Broadwing. Ideally, like, if he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to Broadwing hook the Husk, we would ideally be able to riposte, win the combat, and then play a unit afterwards, but we don't have the stats to pull all that off right now. Or we don't have the mana to pull all that off. Right? It's a nice little bonus if you get the trick onto the Husk, win the combat because of the barrier, and then spread those stats out to another unit. That's where you say, yeah, Bust, you're right. That would be super cool. That would be super cool, Bust. You know all the cool plays. All right, well, get that tentacle out of here. And he just concedes, LOL. I didn't even feel like our hand was that strong. But GG's nonetheless. We can pull this deck up and talk about it a little bit more. And so I'm not entirely sold on this deck. Like, I've never been a huge proponent of Evelynn because it's tough, right? As you see how these games go, you don't have like early game aggression. You're an engine style deck, but there's a variety of engine style decks, right? So if you're, say, the style of deck to where you're playing that new Ionia card that makes the spells in your deck cost half, right? That you don't have to have everything on board for it to work. Or as we see these kind of new upgrades to the champions, to where Shyvana doesn't have to see the dragon damage happen. She just has to have 16 dragon damage happen, then she'll be flipped whenever she gets to be played. And so whenever it comes to Evelynn, you do have to have this stuff on board for the abilities to pop off, right? So we want to have Durandi Sculptor on the board. We want to have Domination on the board. With those two on board, our Husks are now 1/2s. Then every unit that eats a Husk gets the +1/+2 bonus. But if the opponent comes in and then kills the Durandi Sculptor, our Husks all suck, right? Giving your units +1 health isn't really that spectacular. And so to me, it's fine to have on-board style engine cards, but the risk has to match up with the reward. And I don't feel like the reward is really there. Like if we have a start to where we're playing on curve, right? We say play Durandi Sculptor on turn 2, we play Domination on turn 3, opponent Mystic Shots our Domination, and then on turn 4, we play Steem. And Steem does get to have some pretty juicy stats on him, but after Steem, all of the units are going to be garbage, right? Just playing +2 health from the Husks doesn't feel that spectacular, especially as you say, like follow up with a 1/6 Dawn Speaker or a 1/5 Salter. Like these plays just aren't enough to justify the investment that you're making in the board. There aren't any collection of cards within this deck that are just good on their own, besides Steem. Like Steem is pretty good at this point. And so like there's that aspect to it. And then if you say, well, Bust, you're just playing a bad Evelynn deck, you need to play Evelynn deck XYZ. The next step that really is a problem with these Evelynn decks is it can be exceptionally challenging to win the game if you don't draw Evelynn. And so I would be like really, really curious to see what your win rate is in the games where you draw Evelynn compared to the games that you don't, because she's so important in these things. And so if you want to say, like, compare Evelynn to any champion in like Scouts. So if you don't draw Misfortune with Scouts, can you still win that game? Absolutely. It's not that tough to do. It's not that spectacular. Same thing with a lot of these champions, like even with the, say, Fiora Vayne decks we've been playing in the previous video. If you don't draw Fiora, fine. You can still most certainly win those games, but it is a real uphill battle winning those games without Evelynn. And so I'm not really excited about that. And as I look at this deck and play with it, it's like I'm not excited about Lucian. And then like, what are we really doing well here? We're just playing champion strength well. And so if that's going to be our issue at the end of the day, I would rather just play some kind of like loyal Badger Bear champion strength deck. You don't have to play elites. You can include those two cards in any Demacia deck, and you're going to have a reasonable amount of success. And I think that that's where, you know, the success from Evelynn is coming from. I feel like it has a good core for the champion strength, but I feel like if you play against decks that have challengers in it or decks that have lots of removal in it, you're really going to struggle. You're just hoping to play against decks that want to throw stats at you, and you throw your stats at them, and you're able to generate more stats than they are because they can't interact and our units are hanging out on board. And so, you know, I'm not really sold. It does look like it has a decent win rate, and it's carrying itself pretty well in this format, but I'm not really amped up to play it anymore. And that's coming as someone that loves playing the Demacia. So, take it as you will. I hope you have success with it, because I'm done. I'm done with this. And so, there you have it. That is going to do it for us today. And so, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. So, this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.